Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to change it up, and instead of me just talking about specifically my situation, I'm going to run some background video of my HBMs during the day, and then talk about the Druid and what his role is, what talents we want to see with him, and how to use Druid to get the most value from him. So, all right, so let's get started here. In the first HBM, let me just check my defenses. Sometimes I start with the wrong hero in there. It looks pretty good, but I was. So let's start talking about the Druid and why he is so awesome. Why everybody answers Druid to the forum question that pops up daily about who should I upgrade first. It's always Druid. And this is because as we increase Druid's level, we increase his damage, which increases his heal. So he's unique in that aspect where increases his ability. So this is not totally unique to Druid, but it's a really unique characteristic that makes it so much more important to level him up. Let's look at his ability first. Right now, my Druid is at 120. His damage is 2420. Swing speed is 1000. That's average for all the heroes, and then HP is 19,000. Now that's where the Druid kind of shines because he can actually take the proc and tank the boss. I was tanking tier 2 easily. I haven't really gotten the hang of tier 3 yet, so I can't say to that. Druid could definitely the proc from tier 2 boss at level 120. That's amazing. It makes him so versatile. The other thing is he's got that buff that he gives to anyone who he's buffing. The buff is an increase by attack. Now, okay, so mine is 4 of 9. Let me just say that 4 of 9 is where you want to level up to because that covers all the heroes. That means, your Druid and 4 other heroes are going to be healed. So I got mine up to 4-9. At 4-9, the buff that he also gives is a 25% increase to attack for 5 seconds. Now, so Druid's buff is 25% attack amount, or the amount of damage increase for 5 seconds. That's 5 seconds. I mean, like, think about if your hero has, let's say it's 5 of 5 War God Ninja like I've got, right? So 30% or 25% increase is 750 damage. So that's not such a huge increase when you're thinking about it in one swing, but when it's ninja and it's 750, I mean, if you were going to do the math for that, it'd be something like 5,000 more damage every time he procs. That's quite a bit. Makes a big difference. All right, so the Druid heal at level 120 for almost 7,300 health. That is a lot of health. I mean, that's enough to bring some of my troops at least halfway up, probably 3/4 of the way up. So that makes a big difference when I'm raiding, when I'm doing dungeons. I honestly don't use Druid in Arena because really to get that 25% increase bonus, I would have to have it revitalize, and I'd really rather have my Druid proccing more often. And so for me, Berserk is definitely the most beneficial talent. I pulled some information off of the forums about it, and it says Berserk, Revitalize, and any survival talent. So what are we thinking? Survival talents. I mean, Heavy Blow would be a pretty good one because then you could stun the boss and have it someone that could tank the boss. That's got to be up there at the top. But Revive coming back. I mean, depending on which one you get, up to 30% of your health restored. Revitalize. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of this talent. So if you have this in Arena, it's not going to be as beneficial. Unless you have a high level on the talent. 5 of 5 is going to be able to proc really quick and give that 5 seconds of buff, and then also he'll proc he'll do a second proc right after a normal Spirit Mage. Then there's also Scorch and Flame Guard, which are just, damage deterrence. Blade Shell, I mean, you could deflect it. It's a little bit better, maybe, depending on what level you get. Like, and what I always think is the fours and fives are where I want to be, as long as unless it's a good talent, a much better talent for that character. So, like, I have a 3 of 5 Berserk on my Druid, and I love that. I'll take that any day. Enfeeble, or Sprint, I should say, probably. I don't see it. I mean, it could be useful because then he'd be up in the front of everybody. But for me, it would be tough because I already have 3 of my heroes with Sprint, and so he would have a hard time keeping up. It'd have to be 5 of 5, to be honest. But really, that's not any good for the boss. It's not that great for much of anything else. So I would really shoot for that, Berserk or a survival talent. Personally, also War God. Any increase to the damage or attack speed is going to make a big difference in the amount of healing per minute or whatever. Then there's also Bulwark. That's a newer one, and Life Drain could be pretty useful. And I think that's it. So probably Tenacity, of course. Then you're increasing your HP, but really without an increase to the amount that you're dealing, my focus is always on which hero can I use that's going to affect all the other heroes, like Pumpkin Duke, like Cupid. Anything that increases the output of the others is going to be, more important to me than any other, types of talents or anything like that. So I kind of found this interesting. I was just, searching the forum and stuff, and I always could see that there was some green indicator underneath the people who were buffed by Druid, but somebody said that you can actually see bubbles, and in the video, I'm not seeing it right now, but I thought that was interesting. Let's talk about, just real quick, we'll run through each mode. So in Arena, what the best talent for Druid would probably be is maybe the Revitalize, or potentially War God or Berserk. Those are all going to be good head-on, but Revitalize is going to be the best one when you just have a DPS team. You want to get straight to the crystal. You want to get that proc off so that you can increase the damage of your heroes. That's going to be the best value for a talent arena, in my opinion. Going to HBM, now suddenly, anything in HBM is pretty much useless if it has a Revitalize, because after the first time, it's done. So HBM, I would say a high survival talent or a high Berserk talent, or War God. Those are the 3, and preferably anything that's going to get you health quicker is going to be the most important thing to everyone, because they're the ones that are going to need it most of the time. Generally, I put my Druid in the center and I've heard that other people use Thunder God in the center. I use Druid because Druid heals everybody else. So I want other heroes to be taking the aggro so that I can at least heal throughout the remainder of my HBM. Alright, so then rating. You could go really any of those talents. They're all going to be really good. Even Revitalize can have its benefit there. You're going to get your damage done right away. Or not your damage, but your buff running right away. Mix it with the Pumpkin Duke if you can, Cupid, and it'll just make raiding kind of flow nice and easy. But then again, War God, Berserk, and any of the survival talents would be excellent for raiding as well. And I mean, when I first started, I would put out my tank, and I would put out my healer, and then I'd put out my DPS, and it's really transformed now to I put out my Druid as my tank and my healer, and then I put out my DPS, and my DPS then kind of moves a little bit forward, and what happens in my case usually is Pumpkin Duke and Thunder God take over as the tanks, kind of on each side, and then Druid comes in behind them. That's ideally what happens. Sometimes it doesn't. That's my next potential for a tank is Pumpkin Duke, so I could really harness all that damage incoming, and then to celebrate my way through anything really. But that's another video. Let's wrap this up. Honestly, my opinion for the talents is, and you know, they're always Berserk, War God, and I would stay with those two. Bigger heals or faster heals are better. Those are the two that I would shoot for. If I landed with a 4 or 5 here, if I landed with a 4 or 5 heavy blow or a good Revite, then I'm gonna take it. Or even a not a Revite, but in summary, you know, Druid is our must-have healer. He is our must-have hero. You can't really get anywhere high level without Druid. And it's also important to have a really good talent because he is such a backbone of any team. Once you get really, really high, you can kind of consider consider different options where you can maybe get around using a Druid, but he's so pivotal in early stages, and when you're really grinding out stuff and trying to get to the top, that is when you need a Druid, because then you're taking on people that are stronger and stronger than you, and your heroes take too much damage for any magic and stuff like that. So if you're rolling talents, let's shoot for Berserk, War God, Bulwark would be awesome. Those are my favorites. And then anything survival, anything, well, survival or revitalize. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this video was a nice change from what I've been doing. Happy clashing.